Good morning, CW Henry School. This is Miss Davis coming to you virtually, bringing you another Black History Bite of the day. Now, I have to be honest, today is a little bittersweet for me, and that's because today, on February the 26th, it's the last day, school day of Black History Month. Of course, Black History Month continues throughout the weekend, but when we come back to school on Monday, it's going to be March, so it's the end of Black History Month 2021. Before I reveal who we're focusing on today, let's look back across the month of February and remember some of the incredible people we've learned about. I hope you remember that we've learned about politicians, civil rights activists. We've learned about authors, novelists, inventors, poets. We've learned about athletes, astronauts. And you know what? We've only skimmed the surface of Black history. I hope that you've all remembered that Black history is American history, and there's no way it can be reduced to 1 month throughout the school year. Today, as we close out the end of Black History Month at CW Henry School, I hope that we remember that in our classrooms, and we remember to continue to lift up the voices and the history of Black people. So today, on February the 26th, our Black History Bite of the day will focus on the 44th President of the United States, President Barack Obama. Let's learn a little bit about his childhood and how he came to become the 44th President. Obama was born on August the 4th, 1961. He was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. He is most famous for being the first African-American president of the United States. Here's a picture of him as a kid when he was in 3rd grade. Growing up, he grew up in the state of Hawaii, as well as a city called Jakarta, which is in a country called Indonesia. His mother's name was Stanley Ann Dunham, and she was from Kansas, while his father, Barack Obama Sr., was born in Kenya, Africa. After his parents were divorced, his mother married a man from Indonesia, and so their family moved to Indonesia for a period of time. Later, Barack was raised by his grandparents in Hawaii. When he was a kid, he went by the nickname Barry, and if you look at the bottom of that photograph, it says Barry on it. He graduated from Columbia University in New York City in 1983, and after graduating, he had a few different jobs. This included working at the Developing Communities Project in Chicago, Illinois. He soon decided that he wanted to become a lawyer, and he entered the Harvard Law School. He graduated law school in 1991 and began practicing law. Well, in 1996, he entered the world of politics. He ran for Illinois State Senate and won. He served on the state Senate until 2004, when he was elected to the United States Senate. After 3 years of serving on the US Senate, Obama entered the 2008 presidential election. He had gained national recognition for being an excellent communicator and was very popular. Obama won the presidential election and was inaugurated as the first African-American president on January the 20th, 2009. He served 2 terms as president and was reelected for his 2nd term on 2012. This is a photo of Barack celebrating and waving after he won his first presidential election. There is so much more to know about Barack Obama. There's no way that we can talk about him in a short history bite. But a couple other important things. He's a family man. He's married to Michelle Obama, who you see on the left-hand side there. And he has 2 daughters who he loves very much, Sasha and Malia Obama. Additionally, he's an avid sports fan. He loves to play and watch sports. Here's a picture of him playing basketball. So that brings you to the end of today's Black History Bite of the day, but don't worry, we have a couple more slides. If you're interested in pursuing more about Black history, I just wanted to point you in the directions of a couple websites. So this is a website for the National Museum of African American History and Culture. It's probably most appropriate for kids in grades 3 to 8. So this is an incredible museum in Washington, D.C. But as the museum is closed for COVID-19, you can visit it virtually online. There's the website at the top if you're interested in learning more. They have virtual exhibits where you can read about history and see photographs of artifacts. Additionally, oh, here are some books. On the left is a book that Barack Obama wrote called Of Thee I Sing, A Letter to My Daughters. We have multiple copies of this book at school if you want to borrow it when you come back to school. There's another book as well called Barack Obama, Son of Promise, Child of Hope, as well as a book called Who is Barack Obama? I'm going to link some read alouds of these books to this YouTube video. And then finally, if you're interested on a more local level learning about Black history, I encourage you to check out the African American Museum in Philadelphia. There's the website there at the top. Again, this is a website that's best if you're in 3rd to 8th grade. But this is an example of an online exhibit that I thought was really cool, called Through His Eyes, Youth Activism in the Civil Rights Era in Philadelphia. So you can take some pictures, you can look at some pictures of what kids were doing in the Civil Rights era in our very own city. So this might be the end of today's Black History Bite, but on Monday, March 1st, we are going to kick off Women's History Bite. Women's History Month, excuse me, and I'm going to be continuing with a daily Women's History Bite of the day throughout the month of March. So if you have any special requests or recommendation for incredible women in our history that you'd like to highlight or see highlighted through the month of March, send me an email or leave a comment on this YouTube video. It's been so wonderful sharing Black History Bites of the Day with all of you throughout the month of February. I look forward to starting with you on Monday to begin recognition and celebration of Women's History Month. Bye, everybody.